Greetings, family. I'm Damali Robertson, founder of Souls of Women. And I want to introduce you to somebody phenomenal today, Cherry Natural. To me, and I'm sure to most of you, Cherry Natural is the queen of dub poetry. She is my personal poetic shero. Anytime I want to feel a little drop of inspiration, I turn to Cherry for her vibration, for her words, for her magnetism. This woman, I've seen her perform. I have watched her from afar and from near, real close up. And there's one thing, she is confident. She is intelligent. She is a wordsmith of the highest. So she can bring words and it's just like fire, right? And so she also brings the water too, because the fire is fierce and there's a lot of passion and heat, right? And you can feel that in her work. But there's also water, there's also mothering. Cherry, my earliest recollection of her is being in Jamaica at different venues and seeing her with her 2 children, who are now grown people, by the way, walking around just with them every time she's with them and they're with her. And that was an example for me, even as a mother. Many of you will know that I was followed in Cherry's footsteps. And so I had to talk to her when I started the Souls of Women series. I had to have that conversation. And so Cherry and I have a wonderful, enlightening, and insightful conversation about many things. We cover how we met, who I was at the time when we met, and what I was struggling with. And we also talk about her voice and her bold, bold voice that refuses to be silent. And we talk about things, just from the experience of being a woman and growing into your own femininity, your body changing and developing and how you're perceived in the world, to domestic abuse, my own sexual assault I talk about. And so we get into it. And the one thing I'll say is that Cherry as a martial artist, Cherry as this fierce warrior spirit, brings that energy of fight back, defend yourself, do everything that you can, refuse to be silent, which is a powerful thing, right? It's a powerful thing. And I know it's one way. And I want to be really clear that for me, anything that has to do with sexual assault, domestic violence, violence of any kind, trauma, there is a acknowledgement that I want to make that it happens at everyone's own pace and in each individual's own way. There is no right or wrong way of dealing with assault, violence, trauma. We are presenting Cherry's methods and tools, the things that are in her toolbox, right? And we also want to say there are many tools. There are many tools available in the toolbox, and that is totally up to each individual who is living this experience. So with that, I just want to big up, bless up, and give thanks for Cherry Natural. As I said, as the influence she is in my life, continues to be in my life, as the influence I know she is in the world. And she is on a mission to empower women. And trust me, she is doing it every day. So I want to introduce you to Cherry Natural.
Yes.
When I was 13, I was raped in Jamaica. And really, Cherry, I feel like that whole thing shifted my entire life, that experience. And at the same time, I was experiencing seizures, which a lot of Jamaicans call fits. And so it was like almost like double the dose of lack of self-worth, a lack of value. It's almost like as a young person, I hated myself, and I was filled with shame and grief and all these things. And the only outlet I really found that I had was poetry, was writing. And so I would pour it all into the paper. And, it's interesting though, because that writing was the safe place, but sometimes getting out on a stage was very difficult because I think too of the lack of value. Sometimes you don't think anybody really wants to hear what you have to say. And so when I met you and we started connecting, and you invited me to be a part of that showcase, it was the whole world. That someone wants to hear what I had to say. And so I value that so much, and I feel like it's so needed, the connection that sometimes women have, you know. And so I've looked up to you for a long time as a poet, as a woman, you know. And so I really am just honored that you agreed to be part of this.
Well, Damali, honestly, once it has anything to do with the empowerment of women, because my whole life is about empowering women. Because at the end of the day, it is something that I can relate to. Because I too was a coward little girl growing up, you know. At the age of 14, I used to be just intimidated by approach of men. Because once you start having breasts, and men see that, you know, you're turning into a woman, it's like they used to just intimidate you.
Yeah.
So that used to make me be very afraid.
Right.
So it's studying martial arts that really give me this courage to kind of come out there.
Right.
And the reason for even coming out there with my poetry in a lot of ways is to help other women, other women to realize that if I can really reach a place where I feel secure in myself to say what's on my mind, my own thoughts, and share it, that means you too can do it.